Okay, good morning, students. I'm sorry for the late starting of the recording, but we've already talked about our planned activities that we're going to do in this week. And on Thursday, we're going to start our 10 minutes presentation. And we have already talked about the assessment sheet that you need to fill as an audience of each presenter's presentations. And we have already talked about the how we assess or how we evaluate the students' ability to organize and to make some kind of a logical sequence of his presentation. And unfortunately, we talked about it before the start of the recording of this class. But we are now moving on to the second criteria, which is the presentation technique. And as I mentioned earlier, that before class, I've shown you several talk from TED web from the YouTube channel of TED. I just want to show you that some presenters have their own technique or have their own uniqueness in terms of how they start their talk and how they end their talk, or how they use several key or several phrases, okay, or unique phrases that they use when they're going to have a transition between one section to the other of their presentation. So if you see from those examples that I showed you earlier, each presenters that have their own unique way to basically to make their presentation more fluid. Okay, so so in order for you to have that same ability, first of all, obviously you need to have more practice before you do your presentation. But you need also have the exposure of those type of talk that you may access or you may see from any presentation in YouTube channel or in a certain webinar or a certain seminar. So so it is hopeful that you are not using a typical or a common phrases that most students have or most novice speaker use, but you look for new approaches or some kind of a or you can make you can mimic the mimic a certain scientist or a certain researcher who is famous or who is knowledgeable in his field, for example, who have many experience in talking in front of the audience, and you copy the way that he is presenting in front of a certain seminar or a certain webinar or a certain presentation or lecture, etc., and so on. So since we are on the early stage of giving scientific presentation, so copying someone else's method in our technique, in our speaking technique is still okay, as long as it is not related to the content of the presentation itself. So if you're going to copy the technique of, for example, the late Richard Feynman when he's going to open his lecture, for example, that's okay. Or if you're going to use some kind of a closing that one comedian has when he's talking about something serious, etc., and so on, it's also for you to copy those techniques, but not obviously the content of the talk itself, because it's going to be considered as a plagiarized action. So what you need to copy from those experienced speaker is their technique and their unique capabilities in terms of getting the attention of the audience, getting the curiosity of the listeners increase, and to maintain the concentration of the audience, and to make some kind of a full-time engagement during your own presentation. So as long as you're copying their technique in those fields, then it is okay for you to do in this class. Okay, and then the third one, moving back to the assessment rubric. The third one is the visualization. So if you see that the design of a certain figure or a certain map or a certain chart of your peers presentation is unclear, you may give him a rating of 1. Okay, so if the figure is unclear and incomprehensible, especially in most slide that he used, then you may give him or her a mark of 1. If you consider that your peer have some kind of a or if you think that your peer has the ability to use visual aid effectively, okay, then you may give him a score of 4. Okay, so as long as you are being honest and objective with your assessment, then giving a score of 4 is also permissible. Okay, and then the Q&A performance obviously is not included in our 10 minutes presentation, but for the 15-minute presentation, this key criteria needs to be evaluated. Okay, so for 10 minutes evaluation, let me go back. Let me go back to the other slide. So for the 10 minutes presentation, what you need to evaluate on each presenter is the ability to organize and design a logical sequence of students' presentations, and then the ability of students to present their talk in an engaging way, or they have a good or a advanced presentation technique, and then the presenter itself is mastering the content. They're not mumbling. They're not speaking in a slow and soft manner. They have their confidence in giving their talk. They knowledgeable about several key things or small things that is related to the topic, and the visualists and the students also have the ability to produce good visuals in terms of graph, figures, map, and chart, and they follow the constraint given by the lecturer. So usually what I did for 10 minutes and 15 minutes presentation is that I'm giving some kind of a constraint that you need to follow. For example, if you're going to present in a large meet, if you're going to present your topic in a large meeting hall, okay, in a big room, which lights is available at any time, then you need to design your background and your choice of color of your fonts and presentation slides accordingly to the constraint that is given previously. So in the last lecture, I believe that I've talked about styles, and it is mentioned that if you're going to present in a small room and in the big room, there are differences that you need to take for your presentation slide design. And it is also true if you're going to present in a room where light is going to be darkened, or in a room that is full of lights. Okay, so sometimes we have presentation delivered in a dark room, especially for those who are attending, especially for a seminar that is held in a certain hotels or certain venues. They will make the room becomes dark. So you need to design your presentation slide carefully so that the audience eye or the listeners can follow the presentation without problems in seeing the presentation slide. So they follow the presentation without having discomfort when they follow the slides. So therefore, if you're going to present the presentation in a dark room, then you need to follow or you need to edit or basically modify the slides to be more appropriate in a dark room. If it's going to be delivered in the room which has full of lights, for example, if you're going to present for example in the Aula Barat or the West Hall of ITB, all of the surroundings are made, so the building itself is made, so I guess in the, not in the ceiling, well I guess it's part of the ceiling, but also in the wall also. They have many windows and glasses that basically make the lights from the sun penetrates the room. Okay, so the room in that meeting hall becomes full of lights. So you need also to adjust or modify your slides so that it will be suitable for the continuity of the talk at the time. Okay, so here are the assessment sheet that you need to fill later on Thursday. We're going to have 24 presenter based on the latest version of the attendance list that I have from the SIX website. So I guess we're going to have 8 students for the first day, and then 8 students on the second day, and 8 students on the last day. So let me see the class schedule before we moving on to the assessment. Before we moving on to the workshop. Let me see the lecture slides from week 9, I guess. Yeah, in our schedule, the 10 minutes presentation is planned for 3 days, from October the 28th, and then continued on the November the 2nd and November the 4th. Okay, November the 2nd, November the 4th, and October the 28th. So we have 3 days for 10 minutes presentation, and therefore we're going to have at least 8 presenters talking about their topics in 10 minutes. And hopefully everybody could attend the meeting according to their schedule, according to the scheduled sessions that we already have here. And then after we're done with the 10-minute presentation, we can move on to the poster presentation on how we create poster presentation and how to and then followed by how to write a CV and cover letter and how to write an abstract of your presentation. And then we're going to have the last workshop before we end our class of this semester with the full presentation of the 15 minutes talk with question and answer. So at this point, is there any question from the students? Okay, later on, after you fill the assessment sheet for all of the presenters here. So here, the general information given in the EduNext website. Here in the in the 10 minutes presentation session, students who are not presenting will act as a listener or audience. They will give assessment or evaluation for each presenter except for their own talk. So you don't need to evaluate your own talk. You're going to evaluate your peers, your friends' topic, your colleagues' presentations, and submit the assessment sheet into the following folder. So if you click this link, it is going to pin out to the assessment sheet presenter assessment folder. You just need to upload your evaluation sheet over here, and then you need to send them. You need to upload the assessment sheet. The deadline is in Thursday, because that is the last day of our 10 minutes presentation session. Thursday, November the 4th. Okay, so it is not this Thursday, but the following Thursday, which is basically the final session of 10 minutes presentation session. Okay, so after we're done with the 10 minutes presentation session, you submit not only the presentation slide of your own presentation, but also the assessment sheet that you get from evaluating your peers. Okay, so please be aware that the Google Drive folder for assessment sheet and also for the PPT of your presentation is different. Okay, so make sure that you are not submitting or not uploading the files into the wrong Google Drive. Okay, even though it is I have made the folder is kind of accessible for you to edit, but please make sure that you're not uploading the wrong files to the wrong folder. Okay, so there are two folders that you need to submit. First is the assessment sheet, and the second one is the folder for your own presentation file. And for your presentation file, I think I have mentioned here that no, I haven't mentioned here. I have to modify this. So you submit, okay, in this session, student present their selected topic and submit the presentation files, and the presentation files has to be on presentation files in .ppt or .pdf. Okay, so it has to be on PPT or PDF into the following folder. Okay, so this is for the 10 minutes presentation slides, and for the assessment sheet, you just need to upload the Word file. Okay, the doc file that I've given here. Okay, you can download the files over here for your own assessment, for your assessment of your colleagues' presentations, and then you fill it. Okay, you fill the columns. Okay, you fill the columns with the corresponding mark from 1 to 4. 4 is the maximum, and then what you need to evaluate is basically the organization, the presentation technique, the content mastering, the visualization, and the constraint follow. Okay, so the constraint for the 10 minutes presentation is just like when you're going to present in a classroom full of lights and and the classroom is, and the size of the classroom is itself is just like the 1201 room that we have in the physics department. Okay, so if you remember, when you have your lecture in room 1201 in physics program study building, then that is the size of the room where the light itself is always available at any time. Okay, so the constraint there, so the constraint that you need to follow is to have a 10 minutes presentation in a classroom, that lights is always available. Okay, just like when you're going to talk in 1201 room in the physics department complex. Okay, so this is the assessment sheet, and you upload to this corresponding Google Drive. Okay, so I think we're done with the general information for the 10 minutes talk. I've talked about the assessment sheet that you need to have, and then I've talked about the folder that you need to fill after you're done with your presentation. Now let us move on to the workshop itself. Okay. So how many are you present now? Okay, so from 24 students, we have 22. Okay, from 25, okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so let us move on. Let us start from. Okay, can we start from the bottom of the list? Is Fadila Salsabila present in the classroom? Is Fadila?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
Yes, sir.
can you? Is it okay for you to show your presentation slide?
Not yet, sir, because I don't prepare my presentation slide right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. So let us move. Okay. So we can move on to Muhammad Herdiansha. So Muhammad Herdiansha, could you show your presentation draft in the classroom, please? So is there any Muhammad Herdiansha in the classroom? Oh, okay. So you are here, but let me see. I think I've already turned on the sharing option. Let me see. Yeah, I have turned on the multiple participant sharing screen. So could you share your presentation draft at the moment? No. Oh, no response. Oh, okay. So it's kind of lagging in showing the presentation slide. Okay, let us wait for some minutes so that Herdi could show his presentation draft. Oh, okay. So could you move your slide from page 1 until the final. Okay. Okay, this is the second page, and then okay, move. Oh, could you go back to the slide number 4, please? Okay. Is this coming out from? Is this coming out from a certain paper?
Yes.
Okay. I don't I don't know whether everybody could see the distortion that is occur in the center part of this figure, but in my not in my computer, but in my screen, the center part of this figure is a little bit distorted. It's out of focus. Which probably due to the increase and decrease of the resolution. So when you copy and paste the figure from the original paper, are you using copy and paste, or are you using paste spatial? Do you use copy and paste, a normal copy and paste option, or do you paste it as a bitmap?
Print screen, sir.
Oh, print. I think that is the. So you print screen the. Okay, so you print. Okay, so you print screen the PDF, and then you copy and paste over here. Is that the way that you use here? You. Hello.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Do you are you only print screen the section of that paper without editing, or how you produce this figure?
Not editing, but zoom.
Okay. So I think you need some kind of a you need to have some kind of editing before you show this figure, or you can paste the. So for example, could you turn off your screen now? Stop sharing your screen at the for a moment, please. Okay, so that I could show you another way for students to use for their presentation. For example, if you have an original figure, for example, from a certain paper. So let me open. Okay. Sorry, I'm doing a monologue. I should share you the screen over here. Okay. So if you're able to see the screen now, if I'm opening some kind of a paper, so let me open a random paper, for example, this one. Okay, a science paper, and I want to get this figure over here. So instead of using print screen, you may use. So I'm using PDF. This PDF reader, Foxit PDF reader, and each PDF reader usually have this option to make a snapshot of a certain part of PDF. So I'm snapshotting this figure over here. Okay, this one. Okay, I select this area over here, and then I want to transfer it into my presentation slide. So what I'm doing is to open this presentation slide, and then in the blank slide, for example, and instead of just copy and paste this figure, okay, I'm using another options of pushing the Control, Alt, and V. Okay, so that I have this paste special window, and I'm paste the figure that I take from the original paper as a bitmap, and then click OK, and I'm getting the same figure with the same resolution, okay, with the same resolution as the original paper. So instead of print screen your figure and paste it as normal, you may use this option in order to get a better quality of your figure. Okay, if you are not able to make some editing, if editing this graph is not an option for you because you have limited time to edit it, I'm just suggesting you to use paste special instead of using a normal copy and paste option for your figures. Okay, so I think the loss of resolutions in Herdy's presentation probably due to the fact that he's using print screen and print screen and then paste it as normal, so that, or maybe this only happens in my screen, but if Herdy thinks that if you are thinking that the resolution is fine, then you may retain the current resolution of your presentation. But I'm just giving you some kind of a alternative for you to make the graph is not losing their own original resolution. So therefore, you need to make sure that your figures is well presented, etc. So okay, let me stop sharing the screen on my part. And Herdy, could you share your screen once more?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have reached page number 4, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, page number 4. Okay, so yeah, probably the problem is on my screen, but I don't know. Let us move on to page 6, page 5, 6, and so on. Okay, okay, this is 5. Okay, this is good. Okay, 8, let's be varied. Okay, and 9, corrosion analysis. Okay, this is the 10th. Okay, you have 11 slide, and then okay, this, so 11 is not your final slide. How many slides you have for on the current draft? How many slides?
21.
Oh no, it's too much. You only have 10 minutes to talk. Please make it short, because it is expected for you to present each slides in a concise but detailed fashion. Okay, it needs to be concise, but it needs to be detailed. So so we are not going to skim these slides. What you need to do is to present the slides with full concentration, okay, with full explanation on each slide. Okay, so I'm expecting you to create shorter version of slides so that the rule of thumb of giving a presentation of presenting one slide in 1 minute will be achieved. Okay, so please reduce your slides, not 21 slides, but less than that. Okay, less than that. The maximum for 10 minutes presentation is 10 to 11 slides. Okay, because 21 is too much. You're not going to give a full. You're not going to give a research project, not research project, a final project defense. You're not going to deliver a lecture. Okay, you only have 10 minutes to present, and the rule of thumb is that you're going to present one slide in 1 minute. So make sure that the explanation of each slide is complete, and it's basically telling every section of the figure or the equation or the sentences that you have on your slide described in more details. Okay, not skimming from one slide to another. Okay, Herdi, you understand?
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, let us move on to the next student, Aleta. Is Aleta in the classroom? Okay, no Aleta. We should move on to Dearly Aprilia.
Sorry, sir, I'm not ready yet. No.
Oh, okay. Is Hauda Alivia in the classroom?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have your slide ready?
I have prepared, but it's still improvement from 3 minutes presentation.
Oh,
I
okay.
add a
Do you
method
have
and
some kind of additional slides for the 10 minutes presentation?
this.
Okay. Could you make it full screen? Okay, how many slides are there here currently? How many slides at the moment?
This is
13?
13. Yes.
Okay, 13. Okay, 13 is almost maximum. Okay. But I'm suggesting you to erase some slides so that you could have 10 or 11 slides ready for your 10 minutes presentation. But please think about it and practice the talk itself so that you knew what is the time limit or the time duration for each slide's descriptions. Okay, so okay, moving on to the next page, please. Okay, so basically you have this transitional slide. Okay, so that's why you have 13 slides. I'm suggesting you're not going to give a lecture, right? So you don't need to have this one actually. If you're going to present, in your defense, then it's okay for you to have this type of transitional slides. But since we only have 10 minutes to use in this exercise, so you will be fine without this slide. Okay, you can just go directly to the introduction.
Okay.
Okay, next. Okay, background. Okay, next. Okay, next. So this is the PDF. I am assuming. Okay, next. Oh, you have animation. Okay, next. Okay, purpose. Okay. Yeah, next. Okay. Okay. So in the 3 minutes, you only mentioned that. Okay. Okay. Next. Okay. Transitional slide. You can remove it. Okay. CNN, or you can add the title. For example, method CNN as
Okay,
a as a marker that you are moving from one section to another. So from your introduction to the method, you could add method on the title instead of having that transitional slide. Okay,
okay, sir.
next. Okay, data source. Okay, next. Okay. Here, my comment is the flowchart resolution is not that. The resolution of the flowchart is not that good because I see the word is written too small. Okay,
Okay, sir.
and so probably you could chop it, or you could snapshot into a sort into sections, and
Okay, sir.
then paste it on not on one side only, but two sides, or whatever design that you see, or that you consider that the letter could be readable by the audience. Okay, next discussion. Okay, next. Okay, training after. Okay, next. Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So my comment is that probably you could erase the transitional slide and then use the slides more direct, and then well, myself is not a fan of transitional animation. Okay.
Okay, sir.
But if you think that transitional animation is helping you in using a certain technique of presentation, then you may use that. But myself is not a fan of using transitional animation like flying or appearing or jumping, etc. and so on,
Okay, sir.
into presentation, especially for a scientific presentation. But it's up to you. If you think that the usage of those animation is basically helping you in terms of delivering the information, then you may still use it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir.
Howda.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, moving on to Nabila Ashifa. Okay, is Nabila in the classroom?
Yes, sir. But my PowerPoint is still a draft. Is it okay?
Yeah. Yeah, the objective of today's session is basically to see
Okay.
whether your draft is
And
okay.
actually, I'm still not sure about the order of my slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you make it full screen?
Oh, okay. Wait up. Is it full screen yet?
Yes. Okay. Next. Background. Okay. Next.
Wait.
Well, this is okay. Well, the layout of the current draft is, I think, is okay, as long as you're able to delivering the information given here. The current display, okay, or the current design, I think it's okay. Okay, next. Okay, second slide. Okay, the survey area in Cilacap. Okay, the third slide. The purpose. Okay, next. Okay, so this is basically the methods or the basic theory.
The basic.
Yeah. Okay, next.
This is.
Okay. Okay. Next. How many slides you have at the moment?
I have 10 slides or 9 slides. I forgot.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's basically enough. Okay, that's basically enough for your talk.
Okay.
Okay. Next one. Okay. Is this so? Downhole testing scheme here is a transitional slide, or you're going to add materials over here?
I'm going to add some points.
Oh, okay.
Here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Next. Okay. Benefit. Okay.
Oh, only
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I think for that one, the benefit of downhole, you could join it into the sixth slide.
Okay.
Okay, instead of having its own slide, you can move or you can change the topic of the benefit of downhole seismic into the same slide when you're going to show how downhole seismic is done, basically.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, moving on to Rivka. Rivka Ikria. Because we have Rivka and Rivka. Okay, Rivka Fikria. Okay, do you have your draft ready? Okay, okay, so we can. Okay, so if you're not able to show it at the moment, we could move on to the next student. Muzaki, is Muzaki in the classroom? Well, I see Muzaki over here, but are you available for showing your presentation draft? Okay, how about Balia? Is Balia in the classroom?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have your presentation yet, or do you have a draft?
I haven't because I'm still researching on the material.
So if I'm asking you to show your draft, are you able to do that or not?
I think no, sir.
Okay, okay, that's okay. So moving on to Arfian.
Yes, sir.
Okay, could you show us your draft?
I'm
Your
sorry,
presentation.
sir. I'm not ready yet because the past 2 days I've been sick, so
Okay.
my preparation is not complete.
Okay. Therefore, we could move on to Muhammad Rito. By the way, how many students are present? Okay, 22 from 24. Okay, Muhammad Rido Nurul Ihsan is he? Well, I didn't see him in this view over here. Okay, so Muhri Iza, is Muhri Iza in the classroom? Okay, so Muhri is apparently doesn't have his he hasn't present his 3 minutes presentation in front of us, and I think he also is not present in the classroom today. So I'm just going to think that he's not. I'm thinking that he's not going to continue with this class. Is okay. So is Muhri? Okay, it's not Muhri. Is that okay? Zafiri Fadli. Is Zafiri Fadli in the classroom? Okay, Anggia Ananda. Hey, how many are you in the classroom anyway? So 22 is including me. It should be 21. Okay, so okay. Zafiri. Okay, no Zafiri here. Anggia. Where is Anggia? No Anggia either. Okay, so is there Hans in the classroom? Okay, I see Hans Timothy on the participant list. Is Hans available to show his presentation or his presentation draft, please? Hans? Okay. Well, I don't know where is everybody. Doesn't give response. Okay. How about Novan? Novan Ezra? Is Novan Ezra in the classroom? Oh, Jovan. Sorry, not Novan. Jovan. Okay. Are you available to show your presentation draft?
Yes, sir, but it's still a draft.
Yeah, it's okay. We're just looking on the progress.
Okay, wait a minute, sir.
Okay, so the current slides is 10. So that is the basic number of 10 minutes presentation. Okay, so next, Wi-Fi based navigation application. Okay. Could you show the second slide, please?
Here's the purpose.
Is your computer freeze for some reason?
No, I think my connection is not that good.
Okay, is there a problem? Okay, so looking at your current draft, the number of slides that you have currently is already good. You have 10 slides, and I'm hoping that the slides that you already have is readily available for you to explain. And if you're going to add introduction, your title and also your thank you slides, then you may not need to count that as your main slides. So you need to make sure that your main slides should be on the number of 8 till 10. Okay, so this on full screen. Okay, next. Okay, this is the third slide, and then moving on. Okay, this is the third slide. Okay, well, I think the connection is kind of troubling at the moment. Okay, so okay. Thank you, Jovan, for showing us your draft. We should moving on to other students. For the sake of keeping the time of today's session. Yeah, I think Jovan's design or draft is already good, and I think he just need to have practice in describing the materials given in his slide. Okay, thank you, Jovan. I think
welcome, sir.
Okay. Let us move on to Nabila.
Sorry, sir. I just prepared my paper draft, so I haven't done the draft of the presentation.
But could you show us your draft? The current draft?
It's the paper draft, not the presentation draft.
Oh, okay. All right. So, okay. Let us move on to Rifkah Rahayu.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have 13 slides at the moment. Okay, 13 could be decreased into 11 if it's possible. So
Sir, I think 8 for, I think
Oh,
8
okay.
slide.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Could you show me your second slide, please? Okay. Okay. Next one. Okay. This is this. Oh, okay. So, go back to slide number 2, please. So, are you starting on slide 2 or slide 3? Slide number 2. Oh, okay. So the title slide is not counted.
Yes, sir.
Ah, okay. Okay. Oh, so there is a technique for that. Okay, so okay. Second slide. Okay. Third slide. Okay. PGA. And then 4 Estefa methods in calculating PGA, and then next the objective. Yeah, maybe you could use this, or maybe you could just add, or you could change the objective into the previous slides.
In the first slide, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the first or the second slides, because you can tell that the due to the tremendous casualties or tremendous loss during a disaster, we need to have better analysis of peak ground acceleration, so that we have better ways in mitigating the disaster, etc. And so, so that you can add more, descriptions on the Estefa method, or descriptions on the data, etc. and so on. So that,
Okay, sir.
okay, next slide number 7. Yeah, this is the data. When you are the timing of the data collections and the equipment used in collecting the data. Okay, next. This is the flow chart, research procedures, and then next. And then this is the PGA of Southeast Nusa Tenggara.
This is just example, sir. Mine is not finished yet.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, thank you.
But I
Okay.
want to ask, sir,
Yes.
for this result slide, is it better just like this, or should I add some explanation about the map?
Oh yeah, adding in explanation, because remember we have that rule of thumb of explaining a minute for each presentation. So relevant information that you have regarding this figure, you need to have that, because every figure that you have in your presentation slide needs to be explained, and you are the master of your own slides. So whatever you put in your slide, whether it's some kind of illustration or a thumbnail, etc., and so on, you make sure that the choices of that figure is basically going to help you in describing the topic. Okay, so if you think that you need to have additional information about this figure, then add it. Okay, that make so that the audience will know, or they understand what is presented at them at that moment. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, moving on to Nermina. Is Nermina in the classroom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it okay for you to show your presentation draft?
Okay. But it is still draft.
Yeah.
Okay. I think my connection is not good. So.
Yeah, we can wait. We can wait for a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Currently you have 11. Okay, 11 is good. Okay, which basically you have one title slide and 10 main presentation slide. Okay. Next. Social distancing, etc. Okay.
Okay. But I haven't defined the tone of my PPT. So I still confused what design that I must to write in this PPT.
Okay. Okay. You still have 2 days still have 2 days in deciding what information that you need to give in the 10 minutes presentation. Okay, a methodology. Okay, next one, 6. Okay, is your computer freeze or somehow?
Oh.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Slide number 6.
In my computer, it already.
Oh, okay. So the connection is not good.
Yeah, I think my connection.
Okay, Darmina. Thank you for showing us your draft.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next student, Ayunda. Ayunda Putri.
Yes, sir.
Okay, could you show us your draft, please? Okay, currently you have 14, so I'm expecting you to reduce the number so that you make sure that you have adequate number of slides for your 10 minutes presentation, because I think 14 is too much.
Okay, sir.
Okay, could you start from the title slide, please, and then progressing into the next slides. Okay, consumer behavior. Okay, second slide, please. Okay, next. Oh, okay, so you have like, okay, you have the outline. Okay, you have the outline for the presentation. Well, you may choose to, well, since we are going to have 10 minutes presentation, you may choose to use the outline, or you may not use the outline. It depends on the after you practice with your talk, you may know whether adding outline slide is beneficial for you for in the 10 minutes presentation or not, because in a short amount of time, maybe adding or maybe including a outline slide is not that important for 10 minutes presentation, but it is more convenient for the 15 minutes presentation. But it's up to you. Okay, later on the decision should be done based on your own practice. Okay, the third one, please. Okay, this is the third slide. Okay, the fourth, I guess. Okay, the purpose. Okay, next. Oh, could you go back to the person? Okay, a calon consumer is a prospective consumer, right? So where do you get this figure? I guess, do you make this by yourself, or? My question is that, could you make it in English, please?
Oh, okay. I can make it in English.
Sure. Okay. Next. Okay, next, parameterization. You need to describe the accessibility promo. Promo is promotion, service, and effectiveness. Okay, next. Input and output. Okay, next. Yeah, my comment for this one is the same with Hauda. I guess you need to make the flowchart readable for the audience. Okay, remember that you have visualization that is going to be assessed by your colleague. So if you have this flowchart is not clear, they may grade you in a low score. Okay, so remember, you're going to be evaluated by your own peers. So make sure that this flowchart is readable for them. Okay, next one.
Sure.
Let's logo interface. Next. Yeah, could you make the window a little bit larger, because I think it's not clear.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's not. Well, you basically could increase the size of the window of that. Well, what I mean by window is that you may is that figure. Yeah, the figure on the right. You may increase the size, but without losing its resolution, because what is important is the distribution of the dots, right?
Yeah.
What is important here is the distribution of the dots, of the red dots that is showing in the square, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so make sure that you would not lose the resolution of that distribution.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so the task probably here is that you need to increase the figure so that we could see the letters on the screen, or we can see the letters that you are showing on the application over there, but you're not losing the resolution of the particle distribution on the figure. Okay, next model validation. Okay, next. Yeah, especially when you're having that graph, right? You're going to compare the actual data and the model, right? That is the objective of your study, right? So yeah, make sure that the resolution of that graph, the red and the green curve in the middle, have the best resolution, because that's the main theme. That's the main topic or the main message that you want to convey, that you have this consumer behavior behaving wildly, but there is some kind of an order from econophysics or from a mathematical formula that we propose as a model, and from using this model we can see that this consumer behavior can be described by this model, right? That is the objective of your talk, basically. So make sure that the resolution of your graph is in the optimum in the optimum option, in the optimum resolution. So because that is the main point of your presentation. Okay, next.
Okay, sir.
11th, and then next. Okay, so okay. So thank you,
Yes, sir.
Ayunda, for showing the graph. Okay, after Ayunda, we move on to Fadila Rizalul. Yahya. Fadila, is Fadila in the classroom?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so could you show us your draft?
Okay, wait.
Okay, so 11 slide at the moment. So that is the optimum number for 10 minutes presentation. Okay, could you start from your title slide, please, and then move on progressively. Okay, could you start from your title slide, please? Slide number 1, your first slide. Okay, next. Is there any delay?
Yes, I think it is delayed.
Okay. Okay, could you move to the slide number 3, please? Or is the computer freeze? Oh, okay. I think for the sake of timekeeping, we should move on. Okay, thank you, Fadila, for showing us your draft. Could we move on to Ratih Pratiwi?
Okay, sir.
Okay, could you start from, okay, 14 slides needs to be reduced to 10 or 11 slides maximum. Okay, start with this one and then moving on to the second one, please. Second slide, please. Okay, next. Okay, next. Conventional, unconventional, next. Okay, the objective, next. Geological assessment, next. Okay, this is the well log. You have 1, 2, 3. How many well logs are there? 6 or 7? 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 well logs. Okay. Oh, is it a well log or a stratigraphic column? Is it a well log data or
column,
oh, it's a stratigraphic column? Okay, next. Okay, that is the stratigraphic interpretation of the area. And the next.
Oh, sorry, it's the stratigraphic correlation.
This is log, right?
Between the strike and the deep oriented correlation.
Okay, this is the stratigraphic column based on the data that we have from 6 wells. But the previous one, okay, slide number 7 is a, I think it's a well log data, right? Could you make it full screen, please?
Okay, okay.
Yes, I think this one is, let me see. Yeah, this is well log data. Well log data and maybe this is a, well, it is not clear whether this well log is a self-potential, resistivity, or porosity log. But we can see that the stratigraphic column that we have in the next slide is basically derived from these well logs. Okay, next. Okay, this is the study area, the structural interpretation it contains. Well, are you familiar with the geological terminology and geological knowledge in terms of stratigraphy and structure? Do you? Well, my suggestion is that since we are in physics since we are in physics study program and then for obvious reason we are not exposed to geological terminology, and if you are not familiar with them, it is okay for you just to skip this one and then goes directly to the geophysical method instead. Okay, because the objective of scientific communication class is that you are able to present the thing that you have in your slide, and you are responsible for it. You need to be accountable for the things that you put on your slide. So whenever you have this slide of stratigraphic column or a geologic structure distribution on the study area, you need to clearly explain how was the geological structure is formed, or what is the history of the structure itself, how the faults and also the faults is created on the study area, etc. And so on. If you are not able to explain about it, just move on to the geophysical aspect of it. Okay, instead of talking about the structural interpretation, because we have here is a complex map of structural distribution. Probably there is a the structure map is basically telling us about the faults. Is there any faults and faults here, or do you what information that we could have from this map?
The thickness and the depth.
Oh, the thickness and the depth.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the thickness and the depth could be determined from the previous slide of stratigraphic column. Do you think?
Okay,
Because
I think
the structural interpretation is more structural. If you knew the geological structure, you knew that we're going to talk about some faults, some a fracture, etc., and so on. So if you are sure and you able to describe them well, then adding this structural interpretation is okay. But if you are not able to do it, you may omit this and not using these slides. Okay, next. The 10th slide, and this is the this is the it's a gas well. It's a hydrocarbon gas production.
Yes.
Oh, okay. To facilitate small scale CO2 injection. Okay, that is so the shell formation will be injected by CO2 to replace the gas that is produced by the well operation. Okay, next. Okay, this is the monitoring verification. This is the distribution of the wells. Okay, next.
Yes, sir.
Next. Okay, site preparation. Okay, next. CO2 injection. Okay, next. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Ratih, for showing us your draft so that we could move on to Muhammad Raka Fauzan.
Mister, I'm sorry, I'm not ready for my draft yet.
Okay. Okay, so could we move on to Rifki Nafis Mubarak?
Okay, sir. Not finished yet, but
yeah, it's okay. We just want to see the progress of your draft.
Is it already seen yet?
No, it's progressing. It's still processing. Okay, wastewater cleaning robot. The current number of your slides is 11. Okay, please use that number as the maximum number of your slides. Okay, could you move to the second slide, please? Okay, is it behaving slowly?
Oh, I think my connection is kind of
Okay. All right.
not
So,
so good right now.
Okay, understandable. So with that, I think we're done with our workshop today. So I'm expecting everybody to present in the classroom on Thursday, because you are going to act as a presenters and also act as an audience. You need to evaluate your peers when they are talking about their selected topic. And all of you need to assess and fill and all of you need to fill in the assessment sheet that I already prepared in the EduNext, so that you could fill them for each presenters that are going to talk about their topic on the relevant sessions. Okay, please make sure that your connection in the perfect form in Thursday, Tuesday, and next Thursday, so that we don't have any delays for our 10 minutes presentation. So without further ado, I think we are going to end our session today.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How do you decide the order of the presentation on Tuesday? Is it called according to the attendance list or called just randomly?
Okay. Could you stop your screen share, please? Okay. Since you are asking about it, I'm going to screen share the Excel. Could you see the Excel file?
Yes,
that containing your names? Okay. I'm just going to make it easy. We have 3 days. We have 3 days for 10 minutes presentation. So I'm going to make 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So one is basically next Thursday. October the 28th. 2 is November the 2nd. And 3 is November the 4th. Okay, so the order of presenters that is going to, we're going to have Balia, Muhri Iza, Hans, and then Rifkah Rahayu, Fadila Rizalul Yahya, Rifki Nafis Mubarak, and Nabila Ashifa, and then Aleta Laifania going to present on Thursday. Okay, so those are the students who is going to present on Thursday, but the order will be done randomly. Okay, so the order of the 8 students of Balia, Muhri, Hans, Rifka, etc. will be done randomly during the sessions, but the names for the Thursday session, okay, next Thursday sections will be those 8 from Balia, Muhri Iza, Hans, and then Rifka Rahayu, Fadila Rizalul, Rifki Nafis Mubarak, Nabila Ashifa, and Aleta Laifania. Okay, so that is for the first session done on Thursday, October the 28th. The second session will be given by Arfian, Zafiri, Yofan, and then Nermina, and then Ratih Pratiwi, and then Muzaki, Khada Alivia, and then Muhammad Herdiansyah. And then the third session will be is consisted of Muhammad Ridho Nurul Ihsan, Anggita Ananda Kire, and then Ayunda Putri, and then Nabila Safli, and then Fadila Salsabila, Jirli Aprilia, and Rifka Fikria. Okay, so since you are mentioning about the names for the 3 session of 10 minutes presentation, so here we are. Okay, so if you have this list of names, then 1 is first session, 2 is second session, 3 is third session, 4 is the first session, 5 is the second session, 6 is the third session, etc. Okay, let me stop sharing this, and then I'm going to stop the recording.